Hello and welcome to the Wine Stains podcast. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Connor.
Collectively, we're known as
the Parkers.
We're husband and wife, business owners, and multi-passionate people here to discuss life, travel, entrepreneurship, and the beauty of wine stains.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of Wine Stains.
Hello and welcome to episode 4. We're glad you're here. We're recording this on a Tuesday night. We just got back from dinner with the family at a popular place called Dockside. It was a great time, wasn't it?
It was phenomenal, but even more so, we picked up a bottle of wine at Dockside after our dinner, had some orange crushes, had some crab cake sandwiches, had some crab cake salads. It was phenomenal. But we also picked up a bottle of wine, and as is our custom, you can't do the podcast
without introducing the wine.
Called Wine Stains without drinking wine, then introducing the wine. So tonight we have Napa Valley Quilt Cabernet Sauvignon. Big fans of Napa Valley, big fans of big, bold California Cabernets. Somebody said, huh? This is a 2018. It's Quilt Napa Valley Cabernet. Winemaker Joseph J. Wagner. We call him JJ in Napa. JJ from Napa. We do. Yep. Produced and bottled. Man, okay. So this happened last time. We go to read the description on the back, but there's no description. All it says is maybe when you're that. So all it says is the winemaker's name. So maybe when you're that good, you just put your name out and people know.
That one has a pretty good reputation. I think that they probably are just like, it's Quilt.
But again, even the name Quilt. I mean, so it's a good one. I mean, I haven't. Let me taste. Let me give you guys. I'm gonna give you guys because they don't have tasting notes on the bottle. It literally just says Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon, winemaker Joseph J. Wagner, produced and bottled by Quilt Wines, Rutherford, California, 750 mils, and it just lets us know that it contains sulfites. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Probably a bad thing. That's what makes you hungover.
I mean, I honestly think that most nicer wines don't have descriptions on the back.
That's what I'm saying. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna do a live tasting. We're gonna open up the podcast with a live taste test. We're gonna give them our notes, and it's gonna be fantastic. So I'm swirling the wine. We're aerating it.
Important.
The oxygen is coming in. I'm gonna give it a good smell. What do you smell, Kate?
I mean, one of the first things I noticed is this wine is a little bit higher in.
Oh, we did
ABV.
notice that.
It's
Yeah.
5.2.
It's what?
5.2. Or I'm sorry, not 5.2.
5.2. What are you drinking? A White Claw?
15.
Where do you see that?
I think it was on the front somewhere.
Nope, 15.2% alcohol by volume, which is a little bit high because we're used to 13, 14% is standard for wine.
And some like white wines. I think the white wine we had the other night, the Italian white, was like 12%. So it makes a difference.
Yeah, it does make a difference in terms of because we also talked about this. We had a bottle of wine last night, Scribe from Napa Valley, which was amazing.
That was good.
But we talked about
good wine nights.
But we talked about the wine, the more expensive wine. It almost feels like you get more of the grape, more of like the essence of the winery versus like manufactured wine, that they're just churning out. It's more alcohol. So like you just get the alcohol flavor, what I'm saying? Like it's still good wine, of course, but like I feel like higher end bottles, they give you more of the wine, you get more flavor profiles, that kind of thing.
Yeah, there might be something to it.
All right. So anyways, let me give it another on the nose here. So for people that don't know, also, Caitlin's dad worked for Bacardi for like 20 years. And so before meeting the Hiltz family, I knew nothing about wine tasting and the flavor profiles and notes or spirits or anything. And so like he gave me a crash course on how to do the whole wine tasting thing. So you got to swirl it around. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to let the helicopter fly over the area. Don't be afraid to also stick your nose deep inside there. So I taste it's a red. I can smell that. It's a red.
Correct.
So you taste with your eyes, ears, and mouth.
Quick fact, if a wine has a year on it, it is automatically a vintage. If it does not have a year on it, it is not a vintage because it was made by grapes from multiple years.
I don't know what I smell. I got nothing.
I don't know. I know. I'm with you. I'm kind of getting just like...
Getting leather.
It is a little like leathery, little earthy, but also just...
Forest floor.
Yeah.
I say
my favorite.
I say forest floor for everything because I heard it.
Wet forest floor.
Because so again, we referenced the Somm documentaries on the last pod, and And I just remember it's wet forest floor. It's dried lavender in the hills of the Rhone Valley.
That's a good movie.
It's crisp apple.
Anyways, it's nice. It's really balanced. It's super smooth. It has kind of a drier, spicier finish, which I like. I don't like when a wine has like a dry mouth feel where you kind of take a sip and it feels like it like evaporates in your mouth. This is very
that's strong.
Supple, but then because it's
strong.
higher in alcohol, it is kind of a strong kick on the back end. But
that's got a punch. And I don't.
I like it though.
I think I'm wearing headphones right now, and I think because I have sensory overload, it's hard for my nose and my mouth to take in everything. But at any rate, it's a nice full body cab, man. Holy crap. So this episode not brought to you by Napa Valley Quilt. It's brought to you by us who has purchased a bottle of Napa Valley Quilt Cabernet Sauvignon. Highly recommend. Cool bottle too, cool little bottle here. And that's the other thing about nicer wines. The bottle's heavier.
It is heavier.
It's
thick.
It's
like a thick-walled glass.
And when you pour it, you're just like, man.
It's got some weight to it.
It's got some weight to it. So anyway, that's the wine that we're drinking. Would recommend it. And
that I was thinking about too when you were talking about how these wines that don't have a back label, because I'm a copywriter and I relate everything back to.
Oh, is that what you do? Is that what you do upstairs? I don't see you for 12 hours a day.
Branding and copywriting is so important because you give your audience a vocabulary to be able to speak about something. So I feel like when you say, "Hey, I turn around the back bottle, I don't see any tasting notes." I'm looking for you to give me some sort of story,
give me a story,
messaging to
tell me what's up
about the wine so that I can relay it and tell other people.
Right.
So
just like we tried to do now, which was a miserable failure.
Was it?
What did we do good?
What I just tried to do? Oh, what we tried to do. Oh, I was like, wow, I thought I was going somewhere. So yeah, if you are a business owner and you're listening to this, that is why copywriting, branding, all that is so important, because you're able to give people a story, give people language, vocabulary to use so that they can share with other people, which of course creates word of mouth for your brand.
Hashtag wine and wisdom. So we just drank wine and you just got some
like
free wisdom there. That's the wine we're drinking, but we're going to jump straight into the meat of the matter here now. And that is, we got some big news out of the Parker household. And let's just say it may or may not be something that will show itself 9 months from now. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not.
We're not pregnant yet.
We are drinking wine. So that
well, I can drink as much wine as I want when you're pregnant.
We'll talk about that.
That's the thing, though. People, I do know people that I think your brother, your sister's husband.
Yeah,
I don't
during
know.
their first, I don't think he drank while she was pregnant, which was cool. They were in it together.
I saw him sneak some. No, I'm just blowing up a spot right now. No, I'm just joking. But we got some big news coming out of the Parker household, and I don't know if we talked about this last time or throughout the podcast in terms of our attitudes or our demeanor towards life at all, but in terms of like spontaneity kind of deal. But let's see, 2 weeks ago we were hanging out. No, not even 2 weeks ago. Like this past week,
literally this weekend
or yesterday. Who knows?
I think it was like Saturday.
Days have been long, but we, I don't know. I don't want to keep people hanging, but just stick around for the next episode and we'll tell you. Thank you so much for listening. Wine Pod Stains Cast.
Just kidding. Our announcement is
we are going to Tahiti. No,
oh my gosh, cliffhanger after cliffhanger. No.
We are buying a new house.
Can I just say it, please?
We're getting a new dog. We're starting a podcast.
Okay, now it's going to seem not that exciting.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so we are road tripping across the U.S., which is something we have never done before. We've been a lot of places across the U.S., but we were hanging out on Friday night and just decided, you know what? We both work from home. We work for ourselves. We don't have kids yet. That's something.
Wait a second.
Yeah, we don't have kids yet.
But you said road tripping across the United States.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That means we're going to pack up the car. We're going to bring Dodger, our little mini golden
We're going to bring Dodge, the Dodge man.
And we are going to visit whatever friends, maybe some clients. We're going to stay in some cool places. And we're just going to take the month to explore, enjoy.
But it was birthed out of spontaneity, where we've just been wanting
to do something.
So and this is a good segue into I guess a broader topic of those of you who are listening that find themselves maybe married for a couple years. Okay. Kaitlyn's in her early 40s. I'm in my lower 20s.
Am I supposed to laugh at that?
That was fine. No, but just for people and people that have been married for a couple of years that don't have kids, when literally every event you go to, say, when do you have kids? When do you gonna have kids? When do you have kids? No, we're not having kids. And when we have kids, I'm sure you'll be the first to know. But it just comes back to,
and it doesn't even have anything to do with that or with kids.
But it's a large part.
Well, it's just the fact
about?
that we have the option to, and I think we're realizing, especially post a COVID world, like it's been.
So
easy.
COVID's gone.
No.
Hooray in the streets.
Well,
you know what, I do feel it's funny. I asked you the other day because here in Virginia it's like it's mask. Well, I guess they say it's really mask optional. Like I don't give you the stuff where if you're vaccinated. People either are choosing to not wear a mask or wear a mask. No one's saying a thing. And it is phenomenal. And I literally looked at you the other day and I said, Kayla, is this are we so just like I forget what I also said, but it was like, are we in that era now where it's like, hey, like remember COVID? But it's still very much a thing.
We're not there yet. And half of the country obviously still has mask mandates and there's still a lot going on and it's bad in some areas, so on and so forth. But I think it's been easy for a lot of us to kind of get in a rut, and you're working from home. You're kind of just I literally have a sweatshirt that I bought in 2020 that says stay in home 2020. Because
you're so relevant.
And very funny. I just thought it was cute and I liked the designer that made it. But anyways, we just kind of it's easy to get in a rut, in a routine of just doing the same thing over and over again and not really taking advantage of the time and the opportunity and the freedom or the autonomy that you have to just experience more things. And we're excited to share that with you guys and to be able to.
How are we going to share? What are you talking about?
Do the podcast. I mean, we're going to podcast on the road.
We're going to podcast on the road. But again, it comes back to the deeper issue, or not even issue, but the underlying reason for this quest of quests is that we have the time and resources to do it. Why wait?
Right. And I think that can play into a lot of things, you know, it's like, oh, I've always wanted to do that. Or like, I've never seen the Grand Canyon. I've never been to Yosemite. I've never, all these things that you're just kind of you think that you're going to do it one day, but you don't actually do it unless you literally.
Don't say do it.
Take the action
and do it,
and you move towards it. You know what I mean? It's like things don't just happen automatically. They require an active role in doing it.
Yeah. So we basically got super fired up on what if we drove across country or whatever? Got super fired up about it. Looked at each other, started making a list, and it was great. And mapping it out, whatever. And then I remember waking up the next morning and being like, both of us didn't say a word because we got super hyped on it. And then we woke up the next morning.
Ready to pack my suitcase and
and then we literally looked at each other and didn't say anything. And I think I broke the silence so do you remember talking about driving across the country?
Around lunchtime, we finally were so.
Yeah, because I mean, you and I both grew up playing sports and would going to tournaments and all that stuff. You hopped in a car. We didn't fly anywhere, and that was sort of the norm. And I don't know that we're terribly prepared for this quest.
Definitely not prepared. I feel like we have a lot of phone calls to make, a lot of.
But even but that's part of it. In the sense of you and I have just decided, what, we want to go somewhere. We just want to go. And the neat thing is, your car is big enough to sleep in and that kind of thing. And, we also talked about if we get sort of, homesick, or if it's not working, we can always just turn around and go back. I mean, there's so many places in the U.S. that, cause I think we're also, bigger, if we're traveling, we got to go to Europe. If we're doing anything, we got to make it a big thing.
All or nothing.
An all or nothing thing. But I mean, I guess that's kind of what we're doing now too, in terms of all or nothing. Hey, we're going to drive across the freaking country, which I don't know that we're again, we're going into this very,
well, what was my rule?
What?
My rule was as long as we're not doing anything permanent, we're not selling the house, we're not.
But that's also been
a new house.
That's also been my joke, because my joke with your family, which they have not or it's taken them a minute to laugh. I keep telling them, hey, wherever Kaitlyn's car breaks down is where we're going to settle. Just like the pilgrims, or the people go traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast back in the day, when their horse and buggy broke down, that's where they settled. So I said, don't be afraid, or don't be surprised when you get a postcard from Fargo saying, hey, we put down roots here.
Yeah.
And this is where we're staying. You can come visit, but we're not leaving.
Yeah. And I think that comes back to we
Water the plants and mow the grass, please. Thank you.
Yeah, we love where we're from. We love where we live, and I think it's easy sometimes too to like have that.
But it's a good joke though. Like let's not move past.
It's a good joke.
It's funny. That's a really good joke.
Well, especially with the amount of like interesting names for kids in this day and age of like there's probably
Or what if we conceive in Fargo?
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna name our child Fargo. Shout out Four Christmases. Shout out Orlando, Dallas, and
oh my gosh.
I can't remember the other one, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a niece named Indiana who's super cute.
Ooh, do you think that?
Very funny. They've not been to Indiana together.
That we know of. But yeah, so we're excited for it. That's really the big news. And I don't know if that's like I also am like, who even cares? Like I'd be like, it's sometimes like if I was listening to this and they're like, yeah, we're traveling across the country, I'd be like, cool. Like who the hell cares? Like good luck for you. But again, I don't want to skip over the fact, and I keep coming back to this for like the third time now, is that I think this is something that you should all do in a lifetime. Travel across, like try to road trip across the country, or at least do something like this.
Go as many states as you can.
And you know what? Maybe that's an underlying goal for me. Is I want to visit every single state, but also an underlying goal below that goal is I want to visit every single Major League Baseball stadium in the country.
Wow, that's a more ambitious goal.
And see a game, and not just visit, but actually watch a game.
Yeah, that's ambitious.
Yeah.
Is there a Major League Baseball team in every state in the U.S.?
No. You think North Dakota has a Major League?
No, I don't. That's why I was asking. You said it.
Yeah. So nothing against North Dakota, of course. Wouldn't that be something if if at some point in our life North Dakota got mad at South Dakota and said there can only be one Dakota? And then they fought each other.
It's going to happen in the Carolinas.
Which, by the way, it had happened to the Carolinas. And by the way, I found this out recently. This could be completely wrong. Arkansas and Kansas. So Arkansas, and Kansas, I'm pretty sure, got in a fight over the name Kansas.
What?
I don't know this for sure.
Where are you pulling this?
I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that they got to fight over the name Kansas, and Arkansas said, "You know what? We're just gonna put we're gonna call it Ark-Kansas."
I have seen some pretty funny little meme things on Instagram or whatever.
What's a meme?
The English language.
Hey, remember when memes came out though? Was it meme or Mimi or Meme?
It's definitely meme.
No, I know it's meme, but I remember talking to people. Oh no, it's like GIF versus GIF.
Yeah.
Is it meme or Mimi or Meme?
Yeah. Well, anyways.
Shout out memes. Oh my God, I haven't shouted out anything. This is part of our podcast.
Forbid.
Every time I say shout out, you have to take a drink. So shout out memes and shout out GIFs because that's what they're called.
Okay.
Shout out GIF peanut butter. Shout out peanut butter. I love peanut butter. There you go.
So the meme that I saw was like
on what?
The English language makes so much sense, and it's like Kansas, and it had like the pronunciation of Kansas, and then it showed Arkansas, which obviously
Arkansas
has the word Kansas in it, and it was like Arkan-SAS, and it's like how
Arkan-SAS.
Yeah, like how would you ever know that?
Wow,
that was a dead end.
So what you just did is what I do a lot of the time. You just start talking, and people are going with you. They're like, they see the excitement in your face, and you're telling a story. Then you just stop. They're wanting more, and then they just dead end.
Well, word nerd. So
you know what we'll do? Yeah. You know what we'll do? We'll make a promise to the pod listeners. We're going to go to Arkansas and we're going to figure out why they think that they're called Arkansas.
Well, I really
and then we're going to go to Kansas.
I want to see our good friends in Kansas.
We'll go to Kansas and then we'll see why they call it Kansas. And then we'll have them fight. And it will be awesome. We'll YouTube it live. It'll be great. We'll stream it because we're streamers now.
All right. Well, so half of you may be like, "Oh, that's super cool," and some of you may be like, "Don't care." I think
it's like 95% is like, "I don't care." Like we've been done there, done that. But anyway, this is our podcast. It's our rules.
But we're excited, and you know what? It's bound to deliver more stories than us just hanging out in our house every night. So not that we do that every night.
Now we get to hang out in our car every day.
Big nerds, but
now we get to hang out in our car.
True.
And drive miles and miles and miles.
I feel like I don't know what to expect. I'm gonna call all my friends.
No, I don't know what to expect either. But I'm really excited at crossing state lines and seeing the welcome to signs.
Oh my gosh, I can see it already. Connor's gonna make a stop at every state line with his camera and get out. And it's gonna be a whole thing.
Literally,
and he's gonna create a video of every state line.
What better feeling in the world was there when you were a kid traveling to tournaments and doing road trips than when you're in the back seat you're on your Nintendo Game Boy listening to your Sony Walkman, and your dad or mom says, hey, the state sign's coming up. You know, what? And then you peel your head out the window. You're going 75 miles an hour down the interstate, and you see it for that one split second of welcome to Florida.
Yeah.
Welcome to Illinois. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, that is one of the coolest things. I even remember, like, as an adult, the last time I got the tingly feelings in the welcome sign was when I saw welcome to West Virginia. When I went to West Virginia last, but I forgot the tagline. Wild and wonderful, I think it was.
They have a great.
And it was a
sign.
cool, thing. And then, so maybe we should talk about
makes
that.
Me think about Schitt's Creek. The sign at the entrance of Schitt's Creek.
No, that's at the beginning of Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, well,
they're talking about or middle of Schitt's Creek. But you know what would be fun? A podcast episode on the welcome, like the state slogans, like Virginia is for lovers.
Yeah. I don't know that many other ones, but I guess we'll find out.
Virginia is for lovers. West Virginia, wild and wonderful. Chicago's the Windy City.
I think that's just their like nickname.
Or no, well, Chicago's a city. Illinois is the state. So it shows you how much I know.
True. I'm like,
we should go see the Bean. We should go see the Bean in Chicago. Yeah. I've actually never. So I got a lot of family in Chicago. Never been. In my
mind, everything is so much closer.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be 4 hours in and be like, where are we? Let's turn around.
What is happening? Oh, that's so true. I didn't even think about that. Like when we were just in Telluride.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like fly into Denver or think like, oh yeah, like I'm in Denver, I'll just go to Telluride. But apparently it's like 6 hours.
Not apparently it is. Not apparently.
Like that's a big difference.
Shout out apparently, kid. Apparently I've never been on TV before. I just watched my grandpa play the Powerball.
But I think the other kind of like lesson here is
you giving out lessons?
Also pre-COVID, it's like international travel and doing like big things and everything has to be like extravagant versus I think why we're excited about this is because we had been wanting to go back to Europe since we went to France in 2018.
2018. Shout out Paris. Yeah. Shout out
we loved
1975. Shout out, listen to the song. I want to go back to Paris today with the sun beaming down on me, the windows down. It was amazing.
Are you done?
Shout out Matt Healy, 1975, babe. Chocolate, yeah.
Okay, thank God. Anyways.
Praise
him. Okay, so I have been wanting to go to Italy for I don't even know how many years. It's kind of been like
but tell them the story. Tell them the story about you thinking that you were Italian. So keep in mind, Kaitlyn's maiden name is Hiltz. Yeah. But she thought she was Italian growing up.
I did. As Connor said, my dad worked for Bacardi for a really long time, and I don't really know what that has to do with the story other than he's a big fan of a G&T, and I came home.
What's a G&T?
Gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic.
I came
Sipping
home
on
from
gin and
a
juice.
college break. I think it was like fall break or something. We're hanging out with family friends in my parents' kitchen. I'm talking to them. My dad's sipping on his G&T, and the family friend is like, "What heritage are you guys, by the way?" Or like, "What ethnicity are you?" And
which, by the way, Paul, what do you ask people? Because
what's your like heritage?
Heritage.
I say heritage
because every time I go to ask someone that, I always
more to like skin color.
So every time I go to ask someone that, I'm like, so like what are you? What's your
I say heritage.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Where's your family like?
Which by the way,
what's your background?
Remember
your
that
family history?
Disney Channel movie, Lucky the Irish?
Yeah.
Don't you know your heritage? Oh no,
I say heritage. Anyway, so he
don't you know where you're from? Lake Erie. The Shores of Erie.
Connor's.
That was a great movie. That was a great movie.
That was a good movie. Disney Channel original movies were my
jam. Shout out First Crush. Xenon.
Brink.
Xenon
the word.
Brink versus Xenon. Which one's better?
What
Team Pup and Suds?
Definitely Brink.
Team Pup and Suds?
Definitely Brink.
Nah, dude. Zoom. You know my heart go. So was Xenon, fool.
Oh, for the boys. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so Brink for the girls. Xenon for the
so
boys.
Funny, like looking back, like as a 30-year-old woman, like you're like, what? Like,
yeah.
When you're like 14, he was like the cutest person you'd ever seen.
I wonder what they're up to now. I wonder if we can get Xenon teenage whatever it was and the guy from Brink if we can hook them up. Shout out Matchmaker. That would be funny. Shout out though also if we're talking about Disney Channel movies, Lizzie McGuire. Who, by the way, is Hillary Duff. Man, she has stayed true to herself.
My best friend in middle school and I loved
Lizzie McGuire,
loved
man.
Hillary Duff.
I thought they were doing a remake.
An album.
Yeah, I know. This is what dreams are made of. Hey
She was
now,
amazing.
hey now.
She's great. She's
this
super
is what
cool today.
dreams are made of.
I still follow her on Instagram. She's
Hillary
awesome.
Duff?
Yeah. We totally interrupted wherever
She
I
looks
was
like
going
Shawn
with my
Johnson
train
though.
of
I
thought
get
on
Hillary Duff. Remember Shawn Johnson, the gymnast?
Okay, well,
I get Hillary Duff and Shawn Johnson, but Hillary Duff is
Hillary Duff
if
is
I had
like
to go back to
taller.
14-year-old me, 13-year, probably 12 or 13-year-old me, Hillary Duff takes the cake by far. Way over Xenon. Hillary Duff,
Oh,
game
Loved
winner.
Hillary Duff.
Yep. Hook, line, and sinker.
The Euro movie that
Oh,
she
it was
did?
amazing.
So
Oh, it was
good.
great. Yeah.
Oh, Lizzie McGuire. Yeah.
Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah. Which, and then all the Olsen twins movies. They had a few.
You know, the Olsen twins had their go with, Full House, whatever. But you look at the Olsen twins now, though, they
have a super successful fashion brand called
they're-
The Road that is exponentially expensive.
it's exquisite, but
Exquisite?
it's exquisite. I've never even heard of it.
Sounded like my grandmother.
What does she
Eddie?
say? Does she?
She-
Yes,
she
it's
would say
absolutely
that.
exquisite.
I love
Yes,
her.
dear, it's absolutely exquisite. Who got you a Time Magazine subscription for your birthday?
did.
Shout out Time
It's
Magazine.
not my birthday.
But anyways, which by the
Why
way,
did you say for my
or what did you get it for? Just because?
Because.
Oh, that's nice of her.
I know.
That reminds me of in The Office, Michael Scott. He gets his grandma is like getting older and like has dementia or something. Like sends him like checks of like $100, like
Yeah. No, my
like
aunt
every
texted
week.
me.
But like every week though, he's like, I don't have the heart to tell her, so I've been putting money in my sock because I haven't had anything to do with it. And now he's like throwing a party, whatever. I think it's a Goodbye Toby episode. But
Goodbye, Toby.
it's been nice. Hope you find your paradise. Toby, goodbye,
That's
Toby.
one of the only Office.
I love it,
episodes
dude.
that I can watch.
Oh, it's so good. I love
Anyways,
it.
What was I saying?
Yeah. So you're talking
before
about,
we
but
went
you were
on
talking
this
about
epic
but you were talking about your Italian thing. We'll get to that in a second. I'm just trying to think of Smart House, which the guy that was the lead.
Also
the
thought
lead.
he was cute when I was like 14.
That was the guy in
Watching
Lucky
it
the
back,
Irish.
I was like,
That was the guy in Lucky the Irish.
yeah.
Okay.
No, there was another one that wasn't just
Another Disney Channel movie.
Yes, or what was it? Wasn't like Zach and Cody. It was another TV show that I used to watch. Like,
Oh my God! Speaking of Zach and Cody, Zac Efron,
there's Hannah
High School
Montana.
Musical. Okay, Hannah Montana. Loved it. Like was a big fan. Because I was still around that age of
Disney
whatever.
Channel was just
No, was that Disney Channel or Nickelodeon?
Yeah,
Was that Disney Channel or
okay.
Nickelodeon?
Just,
Was that Disney Channel or Nickelodeon?
Channel.
You sure Hannah Montana was Disney Channel?
Hannah Montana was. I didn't watch Nickelodeon. It was Disney.
Okay, well, you think you're better than Nickelodeon?
No, I just.
What do you think you're better than
I watched
Nickelodeon?
Splat or whatever. The green.
Actually, no, I never watched Nickelodeon. I didn't watch much Nickelodeon. I graduated to Disney Channel
They didn't have Disney
when I
Channel
became a
original
middle
movies.
schooler. Okay, fifth, sixth grade. That's when
Yeah.
I graduated to Disney Channel. But no, Hannah Montana was good. I remember Smart House. I already talked about like the Irish. We already talked about Brink. We talked about Xenon. What else you got?
I'm trying to remember, but I watched a lot. I'll have to look up some of my.
We'll do a pod.
Yeah, we'll do a deep dive
Yeah, we'll
and
do a
we'll
deep
go.
dive on Disney Channel movies.
Okay, can I tell my Italian story?
Yeah, so,
now?
so anyway, but you were talking about traveling. You talk about Italy. You're talking about eating spaghetti. You think you're Italian. Go ahead.
So I'm talking to a family friend on fall break, and I'm like, yeah, we're English, Irish, German, Italian. Like, obviously, like, we love Parmesan. My dad's always like, Parmigiana. Like,
Okay, but yeah,
I have olive
you
skin.
you say that,
we
and
have
every
pasta
time
bolognese.
you say that every time you tell a story that your dad was like a Parmesan. I've never seen Brad at any point in like the 7-8 years that we've been together go Parmesan.
Well, actually,
Like, just-
now that I'm older, I realize he used to say Parmesan.
Yeah, okay, yeah, your dad. Okay, so that should tell you everything you need to know. I've heard him say pass me the Parmesan.
We're the Parmesan.
Yeah, pass me the Parmesan.
I mean, he knows it's not pronounced that way.
Parmesan.
But he thinks that's just like how he likes
What if he
to say
doesn't
it.
though?
He has a lot of Bradisms.
What if he doesn't? What if he legitimately
No,
thinks
he
that
knows.
Parmesan is Parmesan?
No, he knows it's Parmesan. He just thinks it's funnier to say Parmesan. Anyways, so I'm like, yeah, we're English, Irish, German, Italian, and so proud. Like the pride.
No, but
is
you
just,
you emphasize the
yeah,
Italian.
I'm like Italian, and the pride is just exuding from me. And my dad literally like spews his gin and tonic like halfway across the room.
No, his
starts
G&T.
cracking up, and he's like, Kaitlyn, we are not Italian. Like, where did you get that? And I'm like, what? Like, You and Mom just got back from a big trip to Italy.
No, but
You've been
you also
telling
said
me for
you've been
years that I'm
No.
like olive skin.
No,
and
but
that,
you were because don't forget this. You also said you guys make spaghetti all the time.
No, you've added that.
No,
You've
that
told
was
so many. I've never
no,
said
dude.
that.
No, dude. You
America obviously eats a lot of spaghetti. The whole first episode, you couldn't stop talking about ragu. So,
yeah, no, but that would
I-
be like me eating SpaghettiOs and be like, "Oh, we're Italian." You know, what does your mom serve
It
you?
has nothing to do with spaghetti. My grandmother Kathleen makes some mean spaghetti, but my mom always made,
but
like,
did you
pasta
ever
bolognese.
look at your mom's mom? She is not Italian. I mean, she is like the poster child.
Oh, now of course.
Or even Betty, you're not.
Now
but,
that I'm
but
older,
you look at. I feel like I could place you in Italy
thank you.
just because of you think a big
I
compliment.
just
eh?
identify.
Which, by the way, shout out Hillary Duff. The Lizzie McGuire movie was Italy, so it was probably that phase.
I feel like I have.
Yeah.
Yes, she's like the very American-looking girl, and then she has her Italian counterpart. You know, I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like it's my homeland, but I haven't even been, which is why I want to go.
But we've not done 23andMe or like the.
No, but you did a really big like
Ancestry.
Ancestry.com, which now that you've done that, I'm very, very much English, Irish, German. Like,
But
there's, like, no
very
getting around
Irish,
that.
but like very Irish.
And
so
very German.
So
Like, my
much to the
grandfather-
point, I'm afraid of like, and not that they're like I'm not afraid. How funny would it be if I'm dark featured guy.
Oh well, yeah, that's the other
Like,
thing.
what if we had, because of your Irish roots, a little white redheaded boy or girl?
I mean,
Wouldn't that be something like that? Would be like a picture you see where you're like, something's not adding up here. I would question whether or not that's my child.
well, have you ever heard of recessive genes? Did you do like middle school?
Oh, you draw
early
the
high school science.
yeah,
class?
you like draw a cross X O O
That
X.
was one of my
But that's what I'm talking
favorite
about.
classes growing up.
That's what I'm talking about. The recessive
It
genes.
was biology.
Yes, it was biology.
Yeah, because my mom taught that for a while.
Yeah. So maybe you should take a history class.
Maybe we should do
biology.
23andMe. My sister,
We should. We'll do 23andMe.
My sister
yeah,
did
that'd be good.
23andMe, and she actually got a lot of Scandinavian. But I kind of come back to the ancestry thing. Like, if you know that your family was like born and raised in a certain, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
my grandparents lived in Germany.
Well, you're three
Like,
generations. So
my grandfather,
you're
Frederick.
no. Your grandfather's grandparents are first generation Americans. So Frederick Heichen Hiltz is a second.
How dare it was Frederick Peter.
Frederick Peter Hiltz. I'm saying it in a German accent.
Connor like cannot resist.
Frederick Peter Hiltz.
I still think you're Australian. Ooh, that's a good story.
What?
When we first
Oh, but no,
met,
but hold on. Let's finish.
Okay.
Let's finish the Frederick Peter Hiltz.
That's a good story.
So, but you're so that would make you a fifth generation.
I guess.
So fourth generation. So, anyways,
when we first met,
Caitlyn
Connor was working. So Connor, I don't think we've shared that yet. So Connor and I met at church. I
Yep.
had been living in Baltimore, moved back
Be
home,
more.
reconnected with some friends from home. It was really important to me in that season of life
Shout
to
out
like
Hessica.
get planted back in church. I hadn't felt like I had a church community for a long time, so went back. First time I was
But you
there,
had started to get a community in Baltimore
yeah,
before you moved
I had
back.
a great community. There was actually like a church within our like complex, like where we lived, that I was going to, but I was kind of like going on Sunday mornings on my own.
Your
like,
compound that you were living in a
complex,
compound?
like our no, we had a really
Shout out
cool,
Harbor East. Or wait,
yeah,
no, what was it? What's in Baltimore?
Harbor View.
No, what's in Baltimore?
Harbor East is where I worked.
Harbor East.
Yeah, loved Baltimore.
Shout
Anyways,
out, Dad.
I like
Totally.
Smile. I just
Shout
Baltimore's
out Under
great,
Armour.
which is no longer headquartered in Baltimore. They moved to
Austin.
Oregon.
What?
Yeah, that's what Lindsay was telling us in Telluride.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Apparently now our friend that works for Adidas, apparently
Adidas. Shout out Lindsay.
Nike
Shout out Adidas.
and
Shout out
now
Nelly.
Under Armour all have like headquarters in Oregon.
Well, Nike obviously is from Oregon.
I'm like so afraid to say anything on this podcast because I feel like I just am gonna get fat.
Oh, no, you just gotta let it ride.
24/7.
You just gotta let it
I'm
ride.
Like, did I just make that up? on
Well,
the
you
spot?
probably did. And
I swear
I
that I remember her saying that.
yeah, I don't know if I believe that. We'll check tomorrow.
No, because I was like, what? Like Kevin Plank was like from Baltimore. Like, why would he move? Like, anyways, whatever.
Pacific North. Wait, Pacific P&W, bro.
P&W.
Pacific Northwest. That's what we're gonna try to go to.
I wanna go to P&W so bad.
We're gonna try to go to Pacific Northwest, and I think it's in. Is it either in Washington? I think it's in Oregon, Cannon Beach. Yeah. So, which by the way, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know where we should go, and if you want to host us for a night or two.
I don't think podcasts have a.
No, you have to subscribe. Yeah, you subscribe to podcasts.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we were talking about when you first met me, and you want me to, I guess, tell the story a little bit?
No, I want to tell the story.
Okay, tell the story. Go ahead, Lil
So
Mama.
we met in the lobby, blah, blah, blah.
Remember Lil Mama? Remember the rapper Lil Mama? What did she sing?
What?
Lil Mama. I called you Lil Mama.
You did?
I did.
Just now?
Just now.
Oh.
Lil Mama. I think she was a rapper. Shout out Lil Mama. I hope you're doing well. Continue.
Anyways, so fast forward, we had met. It was like a week later.
Wait. Fast forward from what?
When we met in the church lobby.
It's like so
fast forward by like a week.
A week, 7 days in a week.
Something around that time frame. Maybe it was 2 weeks. I don't really remember. Anyways, I think we'd been texting, or actually, I think you just knew that I worked at Lululemon at the time.
But okay,
you showed up to the
no.
I don't think we were texting at that time.
We weren't. We were not texting. You thought that I showed up to Lululemon because I wanted to see you. That is not the case. I showed up to Lululemon
to buy a birthday present.
You could
have bought anywhere
for my boss at the time, who was Australian. So I worked for a guy who, well, actually,
that's where the story picks up. So he was working at a local church for the senior pastor, who was Australian.
Aussie.
He has a big family. A lot of the people were Australian. A lot of Australian accents happening is the takeaway.
Yeah, but again, let's not think that your boy was showing up to Lululemon being like, oh, I gotta be desperate here and try to catch a glimpse of the KK.
Being desperate.
It was literally the boss at the time I knew would appreciate. I wasn't a big gift giver at the time.
You might have been
okay?
right. So I
was asking around. And I knew that he likes like athletic leisure stuff, golfer, that kind of thing. And I really wanted to do something special. At the time, $65 for a pair of shorts. Even now, $65 for a pair of shorts was pretty expensive, okay? Might have been $85. Anyway, I'm with Hannah.
Definitely.
I was with my sister.
Yeah, you're with your sister. Okay, this is where
I was with my sister.
So he comes in with his sister, and you may not have come to talk to me, or because you know I did
working. Not. Did I know in the back of my head that you worked? Did I know that I may or may not run into you because I may or may not have heard through the grapevine that you worked at Lululemon? But it was also like right before closing.
Anyways,
was I crossing my fingers? Was I crossing my fingers that you may or may not be there? I don't know. I'm not going to say. You can't give me to talk about it.
That is really important. But you were a little nervous, and so because you were nervous,
I was nervous because I came in and I saw you, and I was like, I really don't want to do this right now in terms of putting the Mac down.
So because he was nervous, he defaulted to his very strong and capable Australian accent.
Wait, no. What do you? Okay, do not. That was such a bad. What do you mean defaulted to my strong and capable Australian accent?
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was weird. That was like I'm going around and being like talking English. And then when I get nervous, I'm going to default to hello, how are you? You doing all right? Yeah.
He just like was.
No, you heard what you wanted.
A lot of time.
You heard what you wanted to hear. I did not speak in an Australian accent. All I said was yeah. And you said, and you thought that I was saying yeah. Or however Australians say it.
I don't know what happened, but anyways, when he was talking, I heard Australian accent. And since the church we were going to had a lot of people with Australian accents.
When I worked for an Australian pastor.
An Australian family.
An Australian family,
and so I texted my girlfriend and was like, I didn't know
Connor was Australian. I literally...
And she died laughing. She was like, what... I need the whole backstory. Like, how did you arrive at thinking?
I remember you told me that, and I to this day am like, what? I literally turned red even thinking about it. The fact that you thought that I was Australian.
I did.
Like, did you not hear my sister Hannah speaking? Like, she clearly is not Australian.
I don't know.
Very weird.
Yeah, but now we're here.
And so, fellas, if you wanna get a date, throw on your what'd you call it? My strong, my strong. If you wanna pick up a girl, put on your strong and capable Australian accent because it gets them every time. 60% of the time, it works every time.
Funny.
So that's pretty funny. But so you're Irish, German. And that's
You're very not.
You're very Irish, German. I am Polish, Lithuanian. A little bit of maybe potentially some Cherokee in there, some Spanish in there, some French in there, some English in there.
I didn't know about the French.
Oh, the French. Yeah, the French is huge. Yeah, parlez-vous français?
Where did that come from? I feel like this is my Italian.
No, it's not. I know for a fact I'm Italian. You know why? Because my dad doesn't lie. Okay.
When did your dad tell you that? Whoa, okay. You know,
so he's from New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah,
big French.
So big
French,
but with New Orleans, but with New Orleans, how my family arrived in New Orleans was part of them was by way of the Canary Islands, which is off the coast of
Spain.
Well, there's a Spanish territory, but off the coast of Africa. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I'm predominantly, but I can't really, I can track it to the Canary Islands in the sense of I'm only, wow. So actually, because my grandmother's.
You have a living grandmother from the Canary
Islands.
No,
I think she's dead.
Oh.
Doris. I think she died. She might be alive. Shout out Doris if you're still listening.
Makes
We don't really
sound
talk.
really bad.
No. I haven't talked to her.
Don't talk to that side of the family.
Well, no, it's not that we don't talk to that side of the family. We just haven't talked to that side of the family. But
welcome to America, the melting pot.
Welcome to America, the melting pot.
Yes.
Okay. Which Nate Bargatze has a great joke about that. He goes, when you move up to New York, people tell you it's a great melting pot of cultures, but really it's a bunch of pots living in other pots that are like them. And so he has a great joke. He's like, it's Asian pots living in other Asian pots. And then when I'm there, they're like, you're not the same kind of pot. So it's pretty funny.
We love Nate Bargatze.
Shout out Nate Bargatze. Hope to get you on the pod soon. But at any rate, that's what I am.
Be amazing.
That's what I am. I'm Polish, Lithuanian. And that's really what I claim. Like when people ask me, what are you? I say Polish and Lithuanian.
That's the short story, obviously.
Polish, Lithuanian, and English. Like that's kind of what I get into.
English? You didn't even just mention English.
What's my last name?
Parker.
Where do you think that's from?
Okay.
English, heavy English. Good eye, governor. Or a Peaky Blinder. Peaky Blinder.
Oh my gosh.
I love Peaky Blinder. I think that's anyway. So that's what I default to.
What's your heritage, guys? Everybody that's listening.
So subscribe and put your heritage down in the comments below.
Like that's like
I am too. No, it's
I'm
fascinating. I love it.
Like loves having those conversations from people. I think like. The whole idea
from
of
people
like,
or with people?
With people. Yeah. Like the whole idea of like roots, like background and
I got no roots.
Yeah, like what makes you? I think that stuff is fascinating.
Red wine, shout out, Napa Valley Quilt is actually opening up a little bit more, and so I'm starting to get a lot more notes.
I'm not getting as much alcohol taste.
Yeah. So at any rate,
I'm staring at a globe behind you. This is fascinating.
Oh, so I also bought it.
It's a good conversation to have with people. Like it's like not your typical like icebreaker like cocktail party conversation, but those are always
nobody told me that's
things like what's your heritage?
It's the perfect it's the perfect icebreaker.
Like when people are like, oh, I hate small talk, I'm always like, okay, cool. So like what questions do you ask people to not have small talk? You know what I mean?
How much does a polar bear weigh? How much does a polar bear weigh?
I don't know.
Enough to break through ice. Hi, I'm Connor. How are you?
Oh my gosh, so bad. That's what you call more of like a pickup line.
No, it's called an icebreaker. You said icebreaker.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's like the greatest icebreaker question of all.
I don't know that I'd be like, hey, I'm Kaitlyn. What's your heritage?
That's true. That's true.
I think when you're like standing around and you've been talking to people for like a little bit, it's interesting to be like,
you know what I hate?
To get into background, family.
You know what I hate? My word. What I hate most about like icebreaker. What do you do for a living?
Yeah.
Hate it. Oh God, I hate it.
Well, I think
like what do you do for work?
If you talk to people about like people who claim to be good at social like they don't recommend that you like lead with that conversation.
I hate it, man. It's like,
hey,
I'm
Connor. What are you passionate about, or what do you like doing? Like, what are your hobbies,
but people go into what do you do for work when the conversations run dry, and for most people that happens quickly, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
because I'm like, there's so much more things to talk about besides what do you do for work, man. We're at a social gathering, we're at a wedding, we're at this or that. Like what do you talk about your passion, talk about your hobby, talk about where you're from, talk about where you want to go, talk about what you're doing.
Just like helps people place other people. Like it's a big part of your life. We spend a large part of our waking life working, but and it helps shape like people's frame of reference.
But the worst part about it is when they ask me, and as soon as I say I'm in finance. You know what? The last 10 conversations, what do you do for that? Well, I have my own financial planning practice. This is what they do.
And they like, shut up.
Yeah. And then just shut up. I'm like, yep, so it's going good. You know, we're just out here doing what we do. What do you do? And they're like, It's like, do you like, I don't know what it is. Is it just the financial thing?
I think it's just the financial industry.
People just like go quiet?
No, the financial industry is just
like, I don't know what to talk to this guy about.
Like people are like, what? Okay. Like there's personal finance, there's investments, there's insurance, there's so many different like parts of it that people are just like.
But they could ask. What do you do?
Questions to ask.
That's
okay,
true.
so this comes back to what we talked about at the very beginning of the episode with why marketing and branding is so important, because you have to be able to give people a vocabulary. And when people are not super familiar with the financial world, especially people who are not of retiree age,
no, that doesn't matter.
I'm just saying sometimes it's like, okay. Like, I pay my mortgage and I pay my bills and do all these things, but they're not like, they don't really, I don't know.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
I like knowing what people do because it helps me, like, figure out their day-to-day. Like, like if someone tells me they're a nurse or versus, like, a corporate real estate agent versus
so how do you approach conversations? You're going into a wedding environment. You don't know anybody. You're by yourself. You walk in. There's 30 people in the room. You're all there for the same thing. How do you break the ice?
If I don't,
wait, I don't think that might. How do you break the ice? How do you break the ice?
You're a game show contestant.
And how do you break the ice, Kaitlyn?
If I don't know them, I'm always curious, like, oh, which couple or, what brought you
No. You're by
you
yourself. You're by yourself. There's no couples. It's all singles. You're at a singles only meeting.
We're just at an event.
Just at an event.
Hey, I'm Kaitlyn. Where are you
Riveting.
from? I like where are you from?
Do you talk first or do you wait for people to approach you? Are you an initiator?
I'm not gonna lie, you're the better. I feel like I'm pretty good at. I'm actually kind of good at small talk.
But are you the initiator?
I'm not the greatest initiator. I'm kind of like, I'm gonna stay in my corner, get my glass of wine, put it on my table. Is there live music? Is there something I can like watch, pay attention to? But you're a little bit better.
I'm the opposite.
Like, yeah, you're the.
You know why? Because I go in. Because any social event I go to, I know. All right, I'm going to this thing. Can't stay quiet. Got to talk to people. You got to have a game plan. So you go in, the first person that you just, wherever you are, whoever you're standing next to, how are you tonight? How you doing, man? You doing all right? Or you like you make a joke about the drink that you're getting, or say something about you open up the conversation, and then that leads in. Then you start getting a little bit loose, and conversation just happens a little bit easier. Yeah,
that's when I come in, and then I excel.
Yeah, so you need an introduction, basically. Yeah. That's actually one of the things that I don't know that I pride myself on, but I really enjoy going to places, and especially like at events, or if we're all there for the same thing. And especially if I'm with you, like striking up a conversation, like.
Well, we've been to a lot of events.
Here's what I do. I go get a drink and I say, "Hey, you hear that joke about the cricket?" No, I haven't heard that joke about the cricket. And I say, "All right." A cricket walks into a bar and sits down at the bar stool. Wants to order a drink. Calls the bartender over. The bartender goes, "Hey." Ah, damn! I think I messed it up. Okay.
Yeah, you did.
No. It's a grasshopper. The grasshopper walks into a bar. Sits down, says he wants to order a drink. The bartender comes over to the grasshopper and goes, "Hey, we got a drink named after you." The grasshopper goes, "You have a drink named Steve?"
Yeah, I think I told you that joke.
You did not tell me that joke.
I did.
But I don't know. So the reason I got confused, I don't know that there's a drink called the cricket. It would make more sense that there's a drink called the grasshopper.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, we've been to a lot of events like together, a lot of stuff for your work.
I've been to a lot of stuff without you, though. Let's just make the record clear.
You've been to a lot of stuff without me.
Let the record show, though, that I've been to way more events without you than you.
I just think the whole I hate small talk thing is underrated because the way that
is what?
Is overrated. Like where everyone's like, "Oh, I hate small talk." Like, yeah, everybody does, but when you're talking to
not everybody does, man. There's those people at the party that just love to talk.
Like for me, like the weather is a topic of conversation.
As long as old wind.
How your flight was is a topic of conversation. Like if I travel to a new place, like when we were in Telluride and the altitude is really different, like that's something to talk about for me. That's like a point of relation where other people are kind of experiencing the same thing. So I just try to not sweat it, and I just try to like let that be what it is and let people like warm up and get comfortable, and then hopefully like move into other points of like commonality.
What did the cricket say to the bartender after he told him that they have a drink named after him?
He said his name was Steve.
No, he said,
you were really excited to do that.
I'll be here all week. So anyways, we are traveling across the country, talked about our heritage. We think that that's important.
Talked about breaking the ice.
So we talked about traveling across the country, heritage, breaking the ice, and I think that's a great place to land the plane. We talked about wine as well. Unless is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think that's good. I feel like the point of this episode was really just to share with you guys what our plans are over the next month and what we're excited about and what we've been doing. And
that's a wrap, folks. Well, thank you so much for listening to. This has been episode number 4 of Weinstein's. So we'll get better at this, though. We'll get better at intros and outros.
So thanks for sticking with us.
Thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate it as always. We hope that you give us suggestions about where to travel, what places.
Oh, you guys can find us on the Weinstein's Pod.
Oh man,
Instagram.
we're coming at you hard with content. We're coming at you hard with content. We're coming at you hard with a social media presence. We're coming at you hard with a website. We're coming hard at you. We are spraying and pouring wine all over you.
That was a lot. So we also, in addition to our Instagram, we also have a website which you can visit at weinstainspod.com, where you can always catch up on latest episodes. You can find our social media channels.
Buy the merch.
We don't have merch yet, but
we will.
If you would like some merch. You can also sign up for our email list, where we will try to send out behind the scenes content and announcements.
Behind the scenes?
When we update.
What is behind the scenes?
Me staring at you with my big brown eyes.
So you're going to let me record that?
Maybe.
Because it is intense.
Maybe. Anyways.
Hashtag brown eyed girl.
Weinstainspod.com, Instagram at Weinstainspod. And we will see you guys for episode number 5.
Were you wanting me to do that in synchronization with you?
Emphasizing the fact that, wow.
Episode 5, we're going to be 5 episodes in.
Yeah, we're four in. So
yep.
Have a great rest of your week, everybody. And we will.
This has been Weinstein. Thank you for listening.
Bye.